Hi, we're back with the Arduino boards. So I have a custom PCB board that I'd like to try because I want to make a traffic light with LEDs. So we'll do some programming with that for C code and I'll teach you how to do it. So I've got 3 different coloured LEDs here. I've got a red, a yellow and a green, and I also have a custom PCB board that I made a few months back. So yeah, I'd like to try that out. But to start off with, we'll just get a breadboard and fix up any mistakes we'd like. Okay, so we've got the setup, now let's program. Okay, so when you first get into the Arduino software, you have something that looks a bit like this screen. And what we're going to do is, the first thing we're going to do is we have here void setup, alright, and we have void loop. So what we want to do is we want to enable our 3 pins that we have. So we have pin 13, 12 and 11 for the 3 different LEDs. So let's go in lowercase, we're going to write pin, and in capital M, and then ODE. Now you can see how it's gone orange. Orange is good. For things like this, once it has a color, it means it's accepted, but you can see if I make a mistake, like do a lowercase m, it hasn't accepted it. So what we need to do is a capital M, and now as you can see, orange, it's accepted it. And so we're going to do the pin number, which is pin 13, and we want it as a output. Now this is being written in capitals. Okay, there we go. Then we're going to close the brackets. And now this is critical. On the end of every single line you do in your code, you want to add a semicolon. Alright, so let's just go ahead and copy that now. And we'll do it for the rest of the pins. So we're going to now change this one to pin 12, pin 11. Now, you might have noticed there's also a void setup and a void loop. So the difference between this is in void setup, what it will do is it will just repeat it once. If I now put my code in there, it will repeat it once. Whereas the void loop, it will just keep repeating, etc. Okay, so now let's input a tab there. Okay, so we're going to write digital as it's off the digital pins and a capital right. Okay, and then open bracket. Okay, we're doing our pin again, which is pin 13. That's the first one we'll use. Okay, we'll close it. And now to turn it on, you don't just write on, as you can see. It doesn't really do anything. Likewise with off, you don't want it off. Okay, you write high. Beautiful. And what we're going to do is we are going to write then digital right. Okay, we're going to go open bracket. Now we're doing the next pin on pin 12, but this time we want it off. Now we don't write off, we write low. And a semicolon at the end, very critical. And our last one, okay, is pin 11, comma, we're also going to have that a low. Okay, so there we go, red, orange and green. Red, orange, and, well, yellow, but yeah, and it will just repeat that thanks to the code. I mean, I guess it works. Let's put it onto a PCB board. Okay, so I've got the LEDs. I'll just put them in. And I've got this 90-degree bend here I want to try, and so I'm just going to stick it in these 4 bottom holes in. Oh, come on, I didn't measure the holes first. I was hoping I could just slide it in, but the holes are too wide apart. If you're going to spend money on something, always measure properly first. Okay, so I've cut the LEDs up and I've cut my little right angle pieces, so we'll just grab the, oh, one side's positive and one side's negative, but I cut them both the same length. You know, on a standard LED, let me show you. On a standard LED, you have a longer side and a smaller piece of metal there, and the longer one's the positive, the smaller one's the negative. But over here, I've cut them both the same length. I'll have to do some tests. Great. So now that everything's where we want it, we have our LEDs, we have the Arduino programmed. Let's solder onto our PCB board. Now, maybe in the future I'll do a proper video on proper ways to solder, but for now let's just go through some very important things. Once the soldering iron is on and hot, don't touch any of it but the handle. Like, it can get quite hot and you can burn your hand. I advise not to just, put it down, because that can end up quite badly. Yo. Oh, come on. And something else I reckon you don't do is just grab the end, because as I said, it can be quite hot. Ow! Maybe I should do a video sooner than later on soldering irons. Ouch. Finished. Oof. Took a little longer than I thought, but made it in the end. And of course you can always fine tune the program to make it more realistic and more delay times, etc.